Well, we could go see The Equalizer 3, or My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
But we still haven't seen the Barbie movie.
I could stare at Margot Robbie for 2 hours.
I don't know. Nothing's really speaking to me. Dang it, little buddy! How many times do I have to tell you to pick up your dolls?
Whoops.
Hello, we're Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile, and today we're reviewing the sequel to The Nun.
That mean old Valak sure is a nasty demon.
She can beat me with a ruler any day. Ooh.
The Nun 2 is a supernatural gothic horror film directed by Michael Chavez. With the release of this sequel, Chavez has now directed the most movies in the Conjuring Universe. He also directed The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
For that sequel, I hope he confessed his sins.
From a story by Akela Cooper, known for *Malignant* and *Megan*, the screenplay was written by Ian Goldberg and Richard Nang, writers on The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Fear the Walking Dead. Not only is the movie a sequel to The Nun, but it is the 9th installment in the Conjuring universe, created by James Wan, who once again produces. In April 2022, James Wan confirmed that Her Unholiness, Bonnie Aarons, would be reprising her role as Valak. Also returning from the first film are stars Thaisa Farmiga and Jonas Bloquet, with Storm Reed, Anna Popplewell, and Caitlin Rose Downey joining the cast. When Valak, a demon disguised as a nun to mock their faith, first appeared in The Conjuring 2, it was a striking and imposing villain. It was no surprise when The Nun got its own spin-off movie. It was surprising that it became the highest grossing in the franchise. However, Corin Hardy's The Nun was a bit of a disappointment.
I put it on to help me fall asleep.
So let's see if Michael Chavez's sequel shares the same fate. Set 4 years after the ending of the first film, The Nun 2 follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with Marilyn Manson.
The demon is easily defeated if you know its name. Quick, what's Valak's name?
Sister Irene and Frenchie, aka Maurice, aren't the only ones who have left Romania, as Valak is going on a road trip. Valak has become more powerful than ever and is looking for vengeance.
It's nice to see her get out and meet the people.
In 1956, a priest and little boy named Jacques are performing their daily chores at a church in Tarascon, France. While investigating a disturbance, the kid watches as the father is lifted into the air and burst into flames. It was so fast and so violent that I actually laughed out loud. I'm going to hell.
Sundays. Am I right?
Sister Irene befriends Sister Deborah, a new nun whose faith is a little rocky.
Oh, she's about to witness a miracle. French people who all speak English.
The two nuns are put to the test after the Vatican demands Irene save their asses again. Valak was not detained, and the demon has been raining terror on religious figures all over Europe. One priest died by fire, a nun hung herself,
And a bishop stubbed his toe. Really demented shit.
Sister Irene and Sister Deborah's investigation leads them to a French boarding school to figure out Valak's motive and how to send the demon back to hell.
Until the sequel.
How does this tie into the larger Conjuring Universe? What is Valak up to? What do Sister Irene's visions mean?
Where are the dirty magazines?
You send that thing.
The story is a real page-turner. Thaisa Farmiga returns as Sister Irene, and thank God, because she's a highlight of the movie. She's able to develop her character further, while we also learn more about her past, and how it may connect to Lorraine Warren.
Other than being sisters in real life.
Acting like a timid little mouse in the first movie, Sister Irene is much more confident in her faith and power in the sequel. She has decent chemistry with Sister Deborah, played by Storm Reed, but Sister Deborah is more of a sidekick. Farmiga does her best to be a beacon of light, literally at one point, but the filmmakers don't provide her with enough juice.
You know what? I drank all the wine.
A minor problem is that our main characters in the spin-offs are nuns. I apologize to all my viewers who are nuns, but they live a pretty bland, uncomplicated life. Praying all day and helping the poor? Boring. However, the filmmakers made sure that the lead nuns are still young and pretty. Because no one wants to bang Sister Mary.
Hey! I'd take a peek under those robes.
Jonas Bloquet also returns as Maurice, aka Frenchie, and delivers a good performance. At the end of The Nun, we saw that Maurice was possessed by Valak. In the sequel, Maurice is now working as a handyman, taking various jobs across Europe where nuns are suspiciously hanging themselves.
Is his handiwork that bad?
Currently working at a girls' boarding school, Maurice is protective over a sweet little bullied girl named Sophie, who seeks a father figure. And Maurice has a budding romance with Sophie's mother, Kate, but the chemistry is non-existent. Maurice is the heart of the movie, and it's tragic that he is Valak's meat puppet.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Bonnie Aarons once again returns as Valak, aka the Nun. Valak pops up a lot more often and is spotlighted in the sequel. After all, she is the titular character. The Nun spawned a bunch of cheap ripoffs like Curse of the Nun, The Bad Nun, A Nun's Curse, and Nun.
Interesting. I'll be seeing none of those movies.
Some people may argue that seeing the monster too early and so often desensitizes us to her presence. But the only reason I paid to see this movie is for the scary nun to make with the scary.
And for the air conditioning.
This is a darker, violent, and more powerful version of Valak than we've seen in the past. Valak has a mission. She's literally pulling the strings and is on the hunt for a religious relic.
She's also on the hunt for all that merchandise money.
In The Conjuring 2, the letters spelling the demon's name are hidden throughout the movie, and they brought that back. Leading to the magazine page-turning scene, the letters can be seen in various places on the walls.
Graffiti? She really is a sinner.
Say what you will about the first Nun movie, but you can't deny its gothic atmosphere. They shot that movie in a real castle in Transylvania, and it's beautiful. I was hoping to see more of that, and the sequel delivered. The Nun 2 was shot in France, in an actual abandoned church. I do love me some mid-century European architecture. The costumes, art direction, sets, and locations are all top-notch and add to the atmosphere.
That atmosphere is really all the smug in France.
The movie is full of jump scares, but few of them actually hit. 9 movies in, we've seen a lot of these setups and payoffs in the past, and there's really only one creative scare in the movie involving the magazines.
Those headlines really grab ya.
Creative, and probably a pain in the ass to shoot, but you still see it coming from a mile away because the jump scares are so obvious.
Like a boxer telegraphing his punches.
So, should you see The Nun 2, Satanic Boogaloo? This sequel is better than the first, but there are some pacing issues. Act 1 and 2 were slow, so it's like they told them to rush the finale. Maybe that's why Sister Irene found what Valak has been searching for this whole time in like 3 minutes.
Indiana Jones, Valak is not.
The character development and story are improvements over the first, as this one focuses more on the mythology. Bonnie Aarons gets more screen time, but these spin-offs are milking The Conjuring for all it's worth, and it's being stretched thin. If you liked The Nun, you'll like this one. If you didn't like The Nun, you might like this one. Or you'll hate it. After all, these are just haunted house attractions in movie form.
Boo!
Either way, the spin-offs are missing the heart that made me fall in love with the Conjuring films in the first place.
Those con artists really warm my heart.
We've been Andy, the Maniacal Cinephile.
Thanks for liking and subscribing.
We'll see you next time.
It's getting kind of warm in here. Are you guys feeling that? Ah!